What's going on, Dolphins? It's your boy Dillon, and I got your preview video here for you for this upcoming Sunday versus the New England Patriots. It's a home game for us at Hard Rock Stadium, so hopefully that helps us out a little bit here. Weather advantage, fan advantage, whatever. Hopefully that helps us out and gives us a boost. But before I get into all the stats and predictions and breakdowns and so on and so forth, let me go ahead and give you a little news. First and foremost, we have brought up cornerback Jalen Davis from the practice squad up to the 53-man roster. We have also waived cornerback D. Delaney, who we just claimed off of waivers from the Jags. I imagine they're probably going to end up signing him to the practice squad, although I haven't heard anything yet. Also, for correction's sake, when I first initially reported us signing him, I called him C. Delaney because it was typo, I guess, in the reporting that I saw. It's D-E-E-E, D. Delaney. Anyway, so we brought him up and waived D. Delaney. Like I said, I haven't seen anything yet, but I imagine they'll put him on practice squad. So as far as injury news goes, for this upcoming game, we have two players that have been ruled out. Unfortunately, that's going to be two players that are kind of important. Center/guard Jake Brendel, who would be playing left guard this game instead of Ted Larson, but he's going to be out with a knee. Hopefully he'll be back next game versus the Vikings. I don't think he'll be out too long. But for this game, we're going to have to deal with Ted Larson there at left guard. Xavier Howard, unfortunately, also is going to be out. We don't expect that it's a serious injury, but he did sustain it against the Bills. Apparently on the play that he got his second interception. He did go in, finish the game. He seemed fine. He didn't seem like it was bothering him or anything like that. He was getting in on tackles and stuff afterwards, but I guess it probably, swole up a little bit or something like that, got sore, but it doesn't seem to be major. So hopefully he will be fine and back for the next game against the Vikings, but that does suck not having him for this game because we really could use him. So that's the unfortunate injury news, is we are going to, be without, two more key players for this game. So as it stands, we now have 11 players on injured reserve, and we have two players that are not, out for the year, but who, are going to be out for this game, and that's unfortunate. We don't have any players listed as doubtful. Questionable, we have Amendola and center Travis Swanson, although we expect both of them to play. Like I said, expect Danny Amendola and Travis Swanson to be out there. So that is good. We'll be getting those guys back. Honestly, I think I might rather have Brendel and Howard than Amendola and Swanson, but who knows? We'll see what happens. It's kind of half good, half bad in regards to us. For the Patriots, they're, unfortunately, as much as I hate to say this, they're pretty healthy apparently. So they have no players listed as out, none is doubtful. They do have some players listed as questionable. Tight end Dwayne Allen with a knee, and cornerback Stephon Gilmore with an ankle, which is big, although I expect both of them will probably be available and ready to play, but they might not be full go. Like, they might not be 100%. So if they're limited at all, that could be alright, especially Stephon Gilmore. Patrick Chung also was questionable, or listed on the injury report rather. He was removed from it, I guess, on Friday, but he had a shoulder thing, so maybe he won't be 100% either. So that's all the updated news and stuff I got to give you. So let me go ahead and get to this breakdown. Of course, you know, as it stands right now, we are 6-6. The Patriots are 9-3. They lead the division, but they are currently, as it stands, I believe the 3rd seed. Or they're fighting. They might currently be the 2nd seed, but you know, the Chargers and the Texans are both, you know, fighting for that. There's huge implications in this game. I mean, if we win this game, then, you know, we could, for one thing, we prevent the Patriots from taking the division for another week, at least. But the bigger implications are that, you know, they could possibly lose out on one of those 2 top seeds. If that was the case, then, you know, they wouldn't get a first round bye. They could also lose, you know, home field advantage throughout the playoffs, which is huge, you know, and obviously could affect their chances to get to the Super Bowl, which would be great. So hopefully we can prevent them from getting there by beating them, you know, do our part by beating them this week. And then obviously that would move us to 7-6 and, you know, continue our hopes for the playoffs. Now it is, you know, a home game for us, so hopefully, you know, we should have that advantage. You know, hopefully it's supposed to be pretty warm and humid on that day, on Sunday, tomorrow, so hopefully that'll be an advantage for us. But the team's got to play well. So let's get into these league standings real quick. Offensive league standings. Obviously, we know that the team overall, our offensive and defensive league standings aren't great at this point. You know, we're in the bottom half of the league and pretty much in every category, yet somehow we're still 6-6. I think that is a testament to, you know, the coaching staff and the you know, players fighting and rallying for each other despite all these injuries and all the setbacks and stuff we've had. But so the statistics, points per game right now, we're getting 20.3, which is 25th. They're getting 27.6, which is 7th. Yards per game, we are getting 302.1, that's 29th. They're getting 395.1, that's 7th. Passing yards per game, we're averaging 199.4, which is 28th. They're averaging 273.4, which is 9th. Rushing yards per game, we're at 102.7, which is 24th, and they're at 121.7, which is 12th. Points allowed, defensive statistic, points allowed per game, we're giving up 25, which is 20th. They're giving 21.6, which is 9th. Yards allowed, 399.4, which is 29th for us, and 369.2, which is 22nd for them. Pass yards allowed, 254.8, which is 21st for us, 262.5, which is 24th for them. And rush yards allowed, we're at 144.7, which is 30th, and they're at 106.7, which is 13th. So there is going to be some opportunity there for us. Their defense, you know, obviously their yards allowed and passing yards allowed are in the bottom half of the league. Their points allowed, though, and rushing yards allowed are in the top half of the league. So, I mean, those, you know, are kind of more important, I guess, overall. But there are going to be some opportunities. Their defense is certainly not playing, you know, as well as you would expect. Same thing for the offense overall. So, you know, it's something we could take advantage of. Remember last year, you know, when they came down here, we didn't allow them to convert a single third down. You know, we played them really well, and we usually do. And you know, historically speaking, we do have the advantage. Tom Brady is 7-9 coming down here. It's like the only place that he has like a bad record. I can't remember what the exact statistics are. I retweeted it. It was a tweet, I think, I saw somewhere. But anyway, you know, it's like one of the only places that he has a bad record on the road. You know, and definitely in the AFC. I know, like, on the road in Buffalo and the Jets, he's like not only got a winning record, but it's, you know, a lot more wins than losses, whereas it's the flip side for us. So that's good. So that hopefully that bodes well. For our previous games, obviously, the statistics don't really, you know, say a lot. It was a rough game. Total yards, we had 175. They had 471. Passing yards, we had 115. They had 311. Rushing yards, we had 60. They had 160. Yards per play, we were at 3.5. They were at 6.6. Neither of us lost a fumble. We both threw an interception, but we were only 22% on third downs, and they were 50%. Time of possession, we had the ball 27 minutes 3 seconds. They had it 33 minutes 21 seconds. We had 8 penalties. They had 7. Passing stats, Ryan Tannehill is 16 for 24. Last game he was 16 out of 24, 66.7% completion percentage, 137 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, and a 103.6 passer rating. For the season, he has 66.3% completion percentage with 1,313 yards, 13 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and a 98.4 passer rating. Tom Brady was 24 of 32 last game with 75% completion percentage, 311 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, with a 102.5 passer rating. On the season, he's only completing 65.9% of his passes for 3,342 yards, 20 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and a 96.8 passer rating. Real quick, and so obviously we know Tannehill was out for 5 games, or whatever, 5 or 6 games, and he's lost so many players, his offensive line and his receivers and stuff like that. So let's just think about it. Obviously we can't go back, we can't change anything, but just for hypothetical purposes, just for the sake of it, just for fun, let's extrapolate a little bit. Let's think about if Ryan Tannehill had played all those games, and if he hadn't lost, his entire team basically, he actually could have better stats across the board than Tom Brady. I mean, if you look at it, Ryan Tannehill on the season, even though he's missed all those games and lost all those players and stuff, he's still got a better completion percentage at 66.3% to Tom Brady's 65.9%. Sure, it's only 0.4%, but it is better, and his passer rating is technically better as well at 98.4 to Brady's 96.8. Sure, it's, a 1.6 or something difference. Not a lot, but it is better. Now, if you look at the other things, yards, Tom Brady obviously didn't miss all those games, and he had pretty much all his weapons for, the most part throughout the year. He has roughly, 2,000 more yards than Tannehill. Well, he could, maybe it wouldn't be, 2,000, but he'd probably be a lot closer, right? Maybe around 3,000, 2,900 yards. Touchdowns, Ryan Tannehill only has 7 less, right? He's got 13. Tom Brady has 20 in those in the same amount of games, right? But Tom Brady does have 2 more interceptions than Tannehill as well, at 8 to Tannehill's 6. So just a little fun thing to think about. Point though is that Tannehill has been playing well when he's been in the game. So if he was in there, as instead of Brock Osweiler, I certainly think that we would have won the Lions game, the Colts game. If Tunsil didn't come out in the Bengals game, I think we would have won that. And he probably wouldn't have got hurt either. And we probably would have still had him for those other games. Anyway, so rushing statistics, Kenyon Drake led the way for us, 7 carries, 31 yards, a 4.4 average. Frank Gore had 8 carries, 21 yards, 2.6. Brandon Bolden had 1 carry of 10 yards, so obviously a 10 average. Sonny Michel led the way for them, 17 carries, 63 yards, a 3.7 average. Julian Edelman had 2 carries for 35 yards, a 17.5 average. James White had 6 carries, 26 yards, 4.3 average. Rex Burkhead, 7 carries, 20 yards, 2.9 average. And James Devlin, 4 carries, 5 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a 1.3 average. So obviously that was all like goal line stuff. He's their fullback, of course, we know that. Receiving leaders, Devontae Parker led the way for us, 4 of 7 for 43 yards and a touchdown. Kay Stills was 4 of 6 for 37 yards, a score. Bryce Butler was 4 of 4 for 25 yards. Kenyon Drake was 2 of 4 for 13 yards and a score. Frank Gore was 1 of 1 for 10 yards, and Nick O'Leary was 1 of 1 for 9 yards. James White led the way for them, 7 of 9 for 92 yards. Josh Gordon was 3 of 3, 58 yards and a score. Cordero Patterson was 2 of 2 for 53 yards. Rob Gronkowski was 3 of 4 for 26. He hasn't been, he's been declining a little bit more and more each year. He's been getting hurt a lot, back injuries and stuff. So hopefully he won't be as huge of a factor. But overall, I mean, they are pretty healthy. They have Cordero Patterson, Julian Edelman, Rex Burkhead, Chris Hogan, James White, Josh Gordon. They got lots of weapons, so it's going to be tough to defend them, especially without Howard. Let's see. Julian Edelman was 3 of 8 for 25 yards. Rex Burkhead was 2 of 2 for 21 yards. And Chris Hogan was 2 of 2 for 20 yards. Defensively, we had 2 sacks, 8 tackles for loss, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery, 2 interceptions, and 4 passes defensed. So pretty solid defensive statistics overall. We're going to need that. Hopefully we'll get more sacks this week since Brady's not as much of a mobile quarterback as Josh Allen. That'll be good. That'll hopefully provide us with more opportunities. New England had 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, no forced fumbles or fumble recoveries, but 2 interceptions and 3 passes defense. So overall, we, comparatively between the last games, our defense did better than their defense. And like I said, I mean, they have been struggling, so that hopefully that will give some opportunities to our offense. And, hopefully our defense will be able to stymie, Tom Brady and their offense. And I think one of the things that we'll need to do is just hopefully the offense can have long, time-consuming drives so we can keep Tom Brady off the field. Anyway, that'll take me into my 5 keys for this game. I think first and foremost, it's going to have to be, our front 7, the defensive line and the linebackers. They're going to have to play really well, especially since we're going to be a bit weak in the secondary. I mean, we still have McDonald and Fitzpatrick and McCain and Jones. We still got a lot of really capable guys. They're obviously going to have to shoulder the burden a little bit more with Howard being out, but there is going to be that weak spot with whoever comes in, or weaker spot, whatever, with whoever comes in. Torrey McTyer, Armstrong, and they might use multiple of these guys. Jalen Davis, maybe you'll get some time. But they're going to have to, get pressure. They're going to have to get some sacks on Brady, man. They're going to have to fluster him. They're going to have to get him off rhythm. If they can do that, then, we should be able to get him off the field, keep him from moving down the field and scoring points. Field position is going to be huge, too. Hopefully our special teams keeps playing well. They've been playing well all year, so I'm not too worried about that. And that's why they're not actually in my 5 keys. But field position is going to be huge, and our defense is going to have to, step up. Next is going to be the offensive line. They're going to have to create more holes. We get Swanson back, but unfortunately Larson's still going to be at left guard. It would be better if we had Brendel there, but obviously he's not going to play. But they need to be able to open up more holes. I think Jesse Davis is going to have a much better game this game than he did last game. He definitely struggled last game. I know some people were like, oh, he needs to be cut, he sucks. Dudley Durong was even like going off on him that he sucks, which is funny because I know that prior he's actually praised him and said he loved him many times, so it's a little contradictory there, but whatever. Anyway, I think Jesse Davis just had a bad game, a really bad game, yes, but a bad game. And I think it's an outlier more than anything, and I think he'll also benefit from having Swanson back in there as opposed to Brendel at center. And but again, we still got to contend with Larson. But hopefully they'll perform, whether they need to protect Tannehill, they need to open up running lanes, and they just need to perform better than they did last week for sure. So the number 3 thing is, like I said, keep Brady off the field. It ties into the first thing. Like I said, we got to get pressure on him. We got to, make sure that, fortunately, he's not as much of a running threat as, like I said, Josh Allen is. So hopefully that'll bode well for us. If we can get the kind of pressure that we got last week, I think we'll be all right, because we were getting back there a lot. There was like 7 missed sacks. Dude, we could have had like 10 sacks last week if it wasn't for the fact that Josh Allen is a big guy. He's big, he's strong, and he's pretty fast. So, and he's a young guy. So, obviously that all plays to his advantages. Tom Brady's older. He doesn't run like that. So hopefully that'll, provide us with more chances. fourth, we need to score points. You know, the offense, you know, if the offensive line performs well and we're able to move down the field, we need to be able to do that. First of all, we need to be able to get down the field into the red zone, and then when we get there, we got to score points. We're going to have to come away with touchdowns. And finally, the penalties again. You know, I know obviously there's a lot of stuff in that we can't control, but the pre-snap stuff we got to control. You know, like last week it was mostly, you know, like I said, Juwan James I think got a holding call, but aside from that, it was all in the interior. Jesse Davis had like 2 or 3 of those penalties. I think he'll definitely tighten up. I'm not so worried about him. I think having Swanson in there, like I said, will be better. I think overall it'll be better on the interior, but we're definitely looking for that. And we got to cut down on the pre-snap and pre-snap and post-snap penalties. Certainly as much as possible to give ourselves a chance, you know, not shoot ourselves in the foot as much as possible. All right, guys, so with that, predictions, I mean, it's going to be a tough game for sure. You know, it's New England, it's a division game, you know, there's a lot riding on this for both teams, so it's going to be tough, but I'm sticking with the squad, man. I think realistically, you know, I do think that it's possible the Patriots come out with a win, but I think that, you know, like I said, I'm rolling with the history here. We've got history on our side. We've got the home field advantage. You know, so I'm going with the squad, man, and I think it's going to be a 27-20 victory. Matter of fact, we'll call it a 24-20 victory, because I think it'll be tight. You know, it's going to be a tough game. The Patriots are going to play us. They're going to play us well. They always do, except for last year. Towards the end of the year, they played terrible. Hopefully they'll play terrible. We'll see. Anyway, that's what I got for you guys. I hope you like it. Hope you enjoy my videos. If you do, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell if you want the alerts. Hit the like button. I appreciate that. Leave your questions, comments, and concerns down in the comments section. Love talking to you guys. Love interacting with you guys. It's a lot of fun. And also, you can hit me up on Twitter. Follow me. I tweet stuff out. You can message me on there. You can ask me questions on there. If you ask me questions on there or in the comment section, I will answer them in my videos for you, as well as obviously answer you there. But anyway, with that, guys, I'm out. I'll see y'all soon. Oh wait, at Dillon Tartaro, that is my Twitter handle, so make sure you follow me there. All right, now I'm out. I'll see y'all soon. Fins up.